we've got this obsession with specializing and making kids specialize young. I think kids should be good at everything. I think kids should try everything. I think if a kid feels like playing violin today, they should play violin. Kids should leave the violin, play the guitar, stop that, just be a maths geek for a few months. You need to explore everything. I'm a strong believer in that. And that's what I try to do for my kids. I let them do whatever they want.
Hello and welcome back to Conversations with myself, Francis Koh. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have another exciting show ahead, which I'm very much looking forward to. My next guest is an actor, director, and scriptwriter. He moved to the UK from Nigeria at the age of 10. It was not until he was at college when he discovered his passion for acting. This led him to audition for a role in Kidulthood. Much to his surprise, he got the role. He carried on with his studies and graduated with a law degree from university. After a while working in the industry, he decided to go back to his calling. He struggled to get roles in films, and this led him to start writing his own films. He is now one of the most recognized directors within its industry. Please allow me to welcome to the show the man who wrote and directed The Intent 1 and 2, Femi Oyeniran.
Yeah.
So,
you know, like people always, because it's like people, I told you, people overthink it. Too many vowels. O-E-A-I.
Or we could just say
there's only
Femi O.
Yeah, Femi O.
Femi O. Ladies and gentlemen, Femi O.
Femi O, baby. But you know what? That was a big intro. I like that intro. It was good. Made it seem like I was like overcoming obstacles and stuff.
You did take
over. Yeah, I know, but when you're in it and when you look back on it, you move on in life and you don't. Yeah. But then you see the ups and the downs and like you're slaying the dragons and the lions and all of that stuff, and then you came out on the other side.
So let's go. So we go back to us. Let's go back to where it started. 10 years old, you in London. Yeah. What was that like?
It was hard. Like, for any kid, like moving to a new country, it's a hard transition. I had a Nigerian accent that's bigger than the one I've got now, and I was in England, and it was disappointing. It wasn't what you see on TV. And so, yeah, it was difficult. I think that's the best way to describe it. But at the same time, like, you just have to keep going. It's not like you get therapy when you move to a new country, or like you get to talk to a therapist or like a psychologist about how you feel, whatever. But people should, if they can afford it. Like, if you move your kids to a new country, you should give them therapy so that they can talk about how that transition is going, because you just get on with it, and it's kind of a bit, you're expected to move to, I've moved from a country with just black people to a country where black people are a minority, and I'm expected to just think that's normal.
Wow. So did that, because I remember when I first came to the UK, I was 11. I was lost. The weather was off.
Yeah.
The food was off.
Yeah.
I couldn't go and play.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Like, imagine that being a child and you're not allowed to go outside. That was what I found weirdest about here as well. Yeah. Because then in Nigeria, I could go anywhere, I could do anything. It's weird, right? It's like you go from this like community way of living. Yeah. Even though, what's weird, yeah, in Nigeria, if I stayed in my aunt's house where I lived in Lagos, the grounds were massive. It's like the equivalent of this complex, more or less. And lots of outside space. If I was not only was I allowed to play within the grounds of the house, I could just go anywhere. And then I'd come back whenever I felt like it.
And everyone knows you.
Yeah, and it was cool. Like, it was fine.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it was fine. Whereas then I moved to London and I'm just in my flat. I'm in my 2-bed flat, like just there.
Couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It's cold, you're not allowed to do anything. I think that's the hard bit. That was a hard bit. As a kid, not being allowed to just run free when you're used to being allowed to run free. I think only kids that have lived I don't think they live like that in the West. Like, maybe only kids, because in the West, play for children is a lot more structured.
Very structured.
My kids have gone to like a play scheme and that's what they're doing for the day. Like, you pick them up at 4:00 and then that's their day. right? Because we're in summer holidays. My kids go to school. They can't just leave the school themselves. A childminder has to pick them up and blah, blah, blah. And that's their, like, or like a nanny or whoever, and that's their day, right? And then, whereas like in Africa, kids are just, they grow up more free. And maybe like Africa, South America, like, just like developing countries, kids are just more raised by the community and kids have a lot more freedom. And moving to the West, I found that very restrictive.
It was challenging. It was super challenging because even I remember that I was like, I just kept thinking, when am I going back? Am I ever going to see my friends? I didn't enjoy this country when I got here. I couldn't speak the English. That was for one.
Yeah.
Couldn't understand. I was just like, yes.
Yeah,
hello.
just nodding, yeah.
Yes. Hello. The only thing I used to be good at the time was football.
Yeah.
That's the only way when
that liberated you.
That was the only way that, oh yeah, Francis, you can play football, come in. After football, I was non-existent. I couldn't tell you the pain. It was, and I would go home and my mum would try her very best to explain, it'll be okay. And no, it's not okay, Mum. But yeah, it's beautiful.
But we're here, we're here and we're thriving, and that's the most important thing.
We are thriving. You are thriving. Let's talk about you, sir.
We both are. I think it's really important. I think it's important that we all look at our journeys and look how far we've come, and what we've been able to do in what is a short period of time in like assimilating and raising families here in the UK now, coming from those kids that moved to England and that were lost and that were confused and that didn't really know how we were gonna fit into this new world.
Did you talk about thriving, did you, before 17, did you know your calling in life?
I'm still like looking for my callings. I feel like we've got several callings. I feel like, in terms of acting and directing and storytelling, I feel like storytelling has always been something that I was born to do, like telling stories. Like I can tell stories really well, like in person, in writing, and so on and so forth. So I just feel like that's something that I've always been. Even like I didn't meet my father. My dad died when I was 1, and so I have no memories of my dad. But people, when they saw me and they would tell me stories about my dad, it would be to reference him as a storyteller, and the fact that he would tell stories and crack jokes and all of that stuff. And so for me, I just feel like it's part of my wiring as an individual. So I was always going to tell stories. I just didn't know in what form. And I like drama, but not like to the point. I didn't even think you can have a career. Now it's different because there's social media and blah, 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 blah. And everyone's acting now. Everyone's on TikTok and Snapchat and Insta. Everyone's acting. Everybody's acting. Literally, everyone's making videos. Like your little daughter's making videos. My sons, everyone is on camera now. When we were kids, everyone wasn't on camera.
Was outside playing?
Yeah, they were outside playing, but at the same time, everyone was not on camera when we were kids. Like there weren't that many cameras. People, you needed them camcorders. Like people, do you know what I mean? Now, everyone's on camera. And so it's a bit more viable for like a young person to say, yeah, I want to be an actor, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to be, because film and video is a part of day-to-day life. When we were like, coming up, it wasn't, even when we were like in college, like when we were 17, like at St. Charles, like video was just, it wasn't that massive. Like, we still had, remember, what you have to appreciate about technology, we still had polyphonic ringtones in college. We were at St. Charles with polyphonic ringtones. Yeah, and we thought it was lit because it wasn't tinny, because it sounded more full.
Yeah.
Imagine, and them times you used to send MP3s on your phone.
I'll say it many times. I remember music, I used to have this Discman.
Yeah.
And I had to hold it like this. I couldn't turn it.
No, but bro,
what
you have to remember is that what I'm talking to you about now is that me and you remember it clearly because that was around the time when we met as like 16, 17-year-olds.
And now it's a
And
thing
now
of
the
the past.
technology's moved so fast. I mean, what they've said, what I've read somewhere, is that the technology has moved so quickly in the past, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 years, in more than it had moved in the past, like, 100 years.
I can believe that.
Do you get what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
technological progress that has been made in that short period of time. Remember, we had dial-up internet.
And that was taking forever to load. But you know what the interesting thing? We didn't even realize it was taking forever. We had to
because
stay
that's
there.
all we had. Just take half an hour to download an MP3, to download one song.
Jesus. So going back then,
Yeah.
you saying that you didn't think you didn't know you'd be this big superstar that you are. Why drama then? Was that following
No,
your
I like
passion?
drama. I love drama.
So it was based on your passion.
But I've got A's at everything.
Yeah.
Like I always like to point that out, because there's like, you know, like we've got this obsession with specializing and making kids specialize young. I think kids should be good at everything. I think kids should try everything. I think if a kid feels like playing violin today, should play violin. Kids should leave the violin, play the guitar, stop that, just be a maths geek for a few months. You need to explore everything. I'm a strong believer in that. And that's what I try to do for my kids. I let them do whatever they want. I'll support them. I'll put money behind it. It's not a waste of money. It's building your characters, building your understanding of the world, even if you don't build the skill.
Which we'd never had that.
Yeah, kids should try everything. So like, I was an A student. I got A's at everything, including drama.
So
I got
you
A's at maths, English, science, everything.
You encourage your kids to do what they want as they feel. How important is that, do you think, for parents to do the same? Or even not just parents, how important do you think adults to go chase their dream as well?
I think adults should do that. I think obviously life comes at you fast, innit? Life comes at you fast. I say that to say bills come at you fast and reality comes at you fast. And so it's harder to chase your dream and to live that truly liberal life, truly liberated life. Because life comes at you fast, right? However, kids, there's loads of free things for kids still. Like, not loads, but there are some. If you seek it out, there are free opportunities for kids to do things, if you seek those opportunities out. And so I would say, like, I would encourage people, like, whilst kids are young, encourage them to try everything. If you've got kids in your life, encourage them to try everything. But I would also say, as an adult, you should make room to chase your dreams and like balance chasing your dreams with opportunities that may come your way in terms of like, you shouldn't just be living to pay bills.
It's funny you say that because you love law. So after kidulthood,
Yeah.
by the way, I know you don't like saying this.
Yeah, go on.
That film,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any person, not necessarily black, any person who was from our side walk of life.
Like any person, you know, like even like people that weren't from our walks of life.
That film was a big film.
It's impactful, not even just because of me. It's like one of the biggest films of its time because it captured a generation in a way that no other film had done. And so I feel like it's probably one of the most important films of the past 2 decades.
Does it receive the credit it deserves?
So. I think people rate kidulthood. I think people definitely give it its place. Internationally, it's not that well known. Like, the intent is more well known internationally than kidulthood. Like, I get recognized in every country I've been to, and I've been to a lot of countries for the intent because it was on Netflix.
We'll get to intent. We'll get to it. I don't want to jump.
We'll get to it. But then kidulthood, people do, like, people here, it's really important. I'd say I've been all over England and people have like stopped me, like white, black, young, old. Like, I've been into kidulthood because it is an important film. I think it's not even about me. It's bigger than me. It's like a cultural phenomenon.
Take us back to, so you done kidulthood.
I swear you was at the audition for kidulthood. Everyone was. Everyone at college was.
No, you know my situation.
No, weren't you there?
You know my situation at
there.
college. No,
the first year. It was the first year.
No,
It was the first year.
I wasn't.
Everyone was in the hall auditioning for kidulthood.
No, I did not, because I was in college for different reasons.
You were there, bro.
I wasn't there. If I was there, I was not there to audition.
Okay. Because I remember like the whole, like I remember going into the drama hall and the whole college was there.
Because remember, I was in PE side as well.
I know. But then you were a sports science side, and remember the thing, the drama thing was near the front.
If I was there, I was there. I didn't even know kidulthood was going on. I was there for the wrong reason.
I didn't know kidulthood was going on. I only found out later, like, right? I just went for an open audition for this new film that was written by someone that had gone to the college. Remember, Noel Clarke went to the college before, and that was how I got involved in that. But I auditioned in 2003, and then I had to re-audition in the summer of 2004 for it. And then we shot it in my final year at St. Charles. So like November 2004, 2005. November 2004. December 2004, I shot Kidulthood.
At this moment, you're still going there just for the love, for the passion. You're unaware what this is going to bring.
I mean, it was the most money I've ever been paid to do anything. It wasn't loads of money, but because you're young, like, it's loads of money. But at the same time, I was catching train to get there. I was catching the bus to get there. Like, you know, it wasn't like jobs that I had afterwards where they will send you a car and blah, 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 and you had a trailer and all of that stuff. It wasn't like those jobs. It was a hustle.
Oh, so that's what you're going to do for me for the next part?
Yeah, come on.
Car? Do I tell what car I need to send, or you send me any car?
No, they send you a car.
So I can't tell you. I can't choose what car I want.
Sorry, it's not an option. Sorry.
I get my own trailer at least. I've made it. I don't think I have. We still got time. We're
working on it. We'll work on it. You're my guy, man. You're in.
So with that, because you love law, so you realise with that, you do that, and you're still not getting enough roles to do it. You go back into doing law. After a while, you realise this is not for you.
Do you know what's mad? People told that story wrong. So what happened was, I remember doing St. Charles, doing Kidulthood in my final year before my January A-levels. Remember they used to do January exams and then summer exams. So like before my January A-levels, then I came back. I was revising on set, so came back, smashed it. I remember I got A's. I might have got a B at something, but I got mainly A's, I wasn't even at college for like a month. Like, it just came. But actually, the fact that I wasn't there meant it's like the pandemic, right? They say people working from home work harder than they do when they're at work, because they have to show that they're working.
Yeah.
And so, because I wasn't at college, I felt like I was working harder, learning my lines on set and working hard on my learning for my exams. And so I came back and I got A's. I remember everyone else in the class like flopped that exam. But and then I went from there to I left St. Charles and went to London School of Economics to study law. And then there was no release strategy. So like we shot the film 18 months before it came out. It came out when I was in my first year of my law degree. So at the end of my first year of my law degree. At that point, I was like, thank God I chose to like carry on in my education, because at that point I had an agent, but they had nothing to like leverage off, like, because I had Kidulthood come in, but it didn't come out for ages. So I remember it came out in March 2006. That was like, I shot it in November 2004, bro. Imagine I just put my life on hold in that period. So that taught me my first lesson about the industry, which is like, you know, have your own plan. Like, have your own plan. Because if you don't, like, you're just waiting on other people to do things. You're waiting on other people to put you on. So, like, you have to have your own plan.
Oh. So with that, got on your own plan, you realise this is not for me.
What, in terms of law?
Law, yeah.
No, do you know what? So what I did was 7, they're shooting Adulthood. It was due to come out in 2008. So I did add a smaller role in Adulthood.
And you had to re-audition for that as well?
No, because it's like the same character. What are they going to do? Like, bring a new guy, new Femi. But yeah, so I went for Adulthood. and then did that. Came out. Adulthood came out within a week or 2 weeks after my graduation, and I was like, oh, this is a sign. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I graduated for my law degree. Whilst I was in uni, I did a play, and then I did a play and something else, and TV show or something. I shouldn't have done it. I should have just focused on my uni. I got a 2-1, but I reckon I could have got a first because I wasn't even that. I was still doing acting.
Did you get heat from the parents?
No. My mum, like, you know what? Once I got to uni doing a law degree, my mum was like,
happy.
Well done. Remember, I've gone through school getting A's at this point. So, like, before GCSEs, my mum was mad worried. She thought I was going to be a gunman or something. Like, she thought I was going to be, like, a big, rude boy. And then I got A's in GCSEs. After that, my mum kind of let me do what I like. Because it was like, actually, maybe he's one of those kids that seem like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he really does. So, like, whatever. So I did A-levels, I got A's again. So it's like, oh, maybe he does know what he's doing. And then I've gone to uni, but I reckon I could have got a first. But because I was, like, trying to do acting and uni and all of that, so I got a good 2-1. But, like, the reason I say that, oh, yeah, I reckon I could have got a first is because, like, I literally could have been more focused on my uni. But I was distracted. I was enjoying the gas of being, like, a newly famous person. Like, I thought I was lit. Like, you know, like, people recognized me that I didn't know. I could get into parties for free. Like, I was getting sent free clothes. It was lit. Like, I just thought, oh my gosh, this is
life.
This is life. Like, I couldn't believe it was real. Like, do you know what I mean? And then you come out of uni, and then you're waiting for your phone to ring, and your agent's not calling you. And you're not getting as many auditions as you expect, and you're getting stressed because, like, you're 21 and all your friends from uni have gone on to their, like, 35 grand a year jobs, which at the time was lit. In 2008. That's lit. 35 grand at 21 a year to do, like, low level work, law work, like, or low level asset, like, management consultancy, or whatever sector all these people went into, banking, law, management, consultancy. That's what all majority of people at my uni went on to do. And I'm just, like, stressing because I'm like, I don't even know what my plans are. Again, have your own plan, right? Because if you don't have a plan, always have your own plan, and whatever other people bring is an addition to that. Do you know what I mean? And so every single day of my life, I've got my own plan. I know what I'm doing because I'm trying to affect my future. It may or may not work, but at least I'm working on something. I think that's a key strategy if you want to work in the entertainment industry. You can't just rely on other people to bring you in.
How does one start working on their own thing? Because what you find a lot of times, a lot of people don't know where to start.
Just do it. Like, just read a book about what it is you want to do. Read a few books. It's easy now. Read up on what you want to do. And if you don't read, listen to an audiobook. It's even easier. You don't even have to read anymore.
Just listen.
You just listen to audiobook. If you don't listen to audiobooks, watch a YouTube video. You don't even have to try to do anything. You can just, like, sort of sit there and close your eyes and just listen. Like, do you know what I mean? And so do a bit of research into what it is you want to do, and then just do it, and then come up with a plan and just do it. I think, like, it might not have this stuff. This is where people give up, though, because you might not have the impact that you want to straight away. But when people talk about all the stuff I've done, it sounds like I've done loads of things. When I'm doing stuff, I feel like I'm not doing that many things. Does that make sense? Because it's steps, right? Yeah. Whereas, like, if you were just like, oh yeah, Femi did kidulthood and then that was it, and we're still waiting. Okay. It's not as remarkable. It's more remarkable when you've got an amalgamation of lots of different things. And that's why I say to people, like, you just need to just keep going no matter what. Just have volume. Like, just keep doing loads of things. And then people take you seriously. By the time you've done it once, twice, 3 times, people take you seriously. And then people want to add their value to what you're doing. People want to be part of it and bring their skill set, all their finances, all their, do you know what I mean?
Because you've done a lot.
Yeah, but you have to just keep going because, like, you've done it. Like, you just have to, I feel like it's about impact and legacy comes from consistency as well. I feel consistency is key. It's like going to the gym, bro. You're not gonna see gains. I can't keep eating cake every day, like, which I do, and saying, "Oh, where's my?" And then say, "Where's my six pack?" Like, do you get? "Oh, where's my six pack?" When it's not showing, man. It's not showing. It used to show. It's not showing.
Let's go back a bit because you touched on something very important. There's audibles and there's physical books. As a person who works in your industry, how much of a difference is there between the two?
What, audio?
Reading,
yeah,
actually reading a physical book and listening to a book. Do you think
I'm always learning every day. So like, I listen, I read. I probably listen a lot more, but I read scripts all the time. So I'm always reading scripts because people send me their scripts for feedback, or people send me scripts that they want me to act in, or people send me, or I'm developing scripts that are mine or other writers. So I'm always reading scripts. Like, I read a lot less than I used to now, but I read like 1 or 2 scripts a week. Like, and I used to read more than that. Like, I'm always reading scripts. And then, but in terms of like learning, I listen to a lot of podcasts now, and so I like there's a New York Times podcast that I like called Sway. So I listen to that. I listen to Drink Champs, which is like a hip hop podcast. I listen to I subscribe to a magazine called The Economist, which is just gives you a full sense of what's going on in the world, and like from a global perspective in terms of like, you know, finance and economics and just politics of the world. Because I like to know what's going on in the world. I'm interested in the world, in like not just the UK. I'm interested to see where the UK and where what at fits within the world. And so like, I listen to The Economist. I've got the magazine, but I rarely read it, so I mainly listen to it. So I'm constantly like making sure I'm getting new information every day. I think that's really important.
That's key.
Because I realised I got to a point where I wasn't learning anything new. Like, I was gonna like go and do a master's or something, because I was just like, I'm not learning. And like, part of living is learning.
Part of living is learning. I like that.
No, it's a fact.
What drives you? What
My
motivates
kids,
you?
My kids, like my family, my wife, my kids, you know. More so, you know why I say my kids a lot more now as well? Because like, you know what's funny? I realize like how proud my kids are of me and my work, because they're older now. So like, my oldest son's about to turn 10. And so he's like, "Daddy, let's watch that thing you're working on." And then he'll put it on, and then he'll play it. And then he'll be like, "Oh my gosh, that's like," so I'm working on this show at the moment called, I'm not even allowed, know if I'm allowed to say the name. When's this going out?
When do you want it to go out?
I don't know. So the show is called The Culture Capsule, yeah? And which is a show that I've just directed for, I co-directed with Nikki for BET. It's going to be used to launch BET in the UK. And
yeah, because they stopped BET in the UK.
It's gone online, but they've got no new content to align to that. And like, part of that, they're relaunching it with The Culture Capsule, which is this show that is hosted by KG, and it's got panelists like from the world of music, comedy, like influencers. So it's got this kid Hahis, who's like big on TikTok. It's got a Grace Agilore, who's like big on Insta and the social media platforms. And then Eddie Caddy's on there, Slim the Comedian, Ramel London, Tiffany Calver, Swarms, R.D. Caprio, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And Tanya Moore, Arnold George, like Miss Banks, so many different people. And I directed that, and DWE is doing the voice, so he's gonna be like the Siri of the show.
Okay.
It's dope, man. It's fire. And the idea is like 3 panelists argue over what item of food, drink, clothing should go into a capsule that is saved for Black British people in 200 years' time. It's dope. It's a dope show. So like, but my son's like, "Oh, let's watch it, Daddy. Like, let's see." Yeah. Like, and you know, it's really interesting. I'm like, "Oh, but." He's like, "Oh, but I've watched it a little bit." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, when you're working on the edit on Zoom, I sometimes just sit there and I listen." And stuff like that, you know, and it makes me want to do stuff that they can watch. So I did something called Drunk History, Black Stories last year, early this year it came out. And like they really dug that. I had bad language, but I was like, it's fine, just watch it. Like it's like, and because that one's like people get drunk and then retell history, and then we get actors to reenact some of the stuff that they're telling.
Yeah, I've seen. I bet you got like 2 comedians in there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was for Comedy Central, and like my son, like he was like really, and they were really into that because again they were listening into me editing it at home because I'm working from home now, so it's crazy. But I suppose like my kids really drive me, and I want to be successful. Like I want to be even more successful than I am. Like
what does success look like to you?
Success is like, you know, setting new challenges and achieving them again and again and again.
Which you got a lot.
Yes, but I just have to keep going, isn't it? Because there's new goalposts, right?
That's true.
And that's the thing. I used to think when you were young, when I was young, I used to think if I could just make 10 bags. For a long time, in life, I just wanted 10 bags. I don't even know when it stopped. But there was a time when I thought 10 bags,
you made it,
was the end of all my problems. £10,000.
I don't know why we're laughing, because I guess I'm still at that stage now.
But I remember I was at college, right? I come out of uni and I met this MP, David Lammy. And I was like, oh, I need funding to buy equipment and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I can help you get that. He was like, how much do you need? I was like, £10,000. And he said, that's not a lot.
That changed your whole mindset.
No, it didn't, you know, because I thought, who is this guy that thinks 10 grand's not a lot? I thought he was amazing. I thought like, wow, 10 grand's a lot, bro. Like, you know, but I don't know when it stopped. It was like, at one point, £10,000 could solve all my problems.
So how much is it now?
I don't know. It's not even a money thing anymore. I feel like it's a security thing. It's a freedom thing. It's being free to create what you want to create thing. It's like, you know, it's everything that comes with working in my industry, which is like making more money, winning awards, like getting the recognition, like getting the respect of your peers, getting making your kids proud, making your mum proud, making your wife proud, making your sister proud. Like all of that is important. All of these things like is what drives me to want to be better, and like all of these things are the reasons. Like it's all beyond me, isn't it? It's like, and also like, you know, sort of like being of service to the world in a positive way and having positive impact on people. I think that's really important. It's like if I can make people happy or smile or laugh or like, you know, just have a good day or add value to their day, that's why I'm here, surely. I think that's important. And I also, like the only thing, it's like I said earlier in the interview, it's like life comes at you fast, isn't it?
Too fast.
And so then you get to a point, life just becomes about, oh, how am I going to make 10 bags? Like, but that's not life, you know? That's not life. Life is just being content and being happy in what you have and in what you're doing and being content and like just being satisfied, you know? And I just feel like for me, like sometimes the distraction of making money in day-to-day life gets in the way of what life truly is, which is like just being satisfied and just being fulfilled with your gift and just being fulfilled in your ability to have a positive impact on other people's lives.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, go find your gift and make impact and be successful, not financially. Okay, you heard it from the main man himself.
I think so, bro. I think so. I really think so. I think, like, you meet rich people. I've met rich people. I've met billionaires. Like, I've been around billionaires. They're still, like, searching. I've literally met several billionaires in my time. And there's always something missing.
And they work hard.
Yeah.
You would think, they work hard. Yeah, I know one or two as well.
Yeah, and they're just...
Maybe millionaires, not billionaires.
Like, I've even, like, you know, you meet people and you realise that actually these people are, like, you know, they're still in search of something. So if all our problems were to be solved by money, then these people will be enlightened. But they're not.
So talking about constant working, you write script. How many scripts do you work on at one given time? And how do you prioritize?
You know what? I've lots of ideas, right? At lots of different stages. And I think the most efficient way for me to work on stuff by myself is to concentrate, to zone in on one thing at a time.
So would you write a script to the very end and come back to another one?
Yeah, that's the most efficient way to do it. But then I don't always work in the most efficient way.
Well, but you're successful, so the way you work is working.
Yeah, but it could work better. You should always do an audit, isn't it, of your style?
When's the last time you done an audit of your style?
Every so often. I'm planning on doing one again soon. But what I do know is that I could be more efficient in the way I work in terms of writing. Writing is the hardest thing because it's time consuming. It's you by yourself. And, well, sometimes I write with Nikki, like quite a lot of times. And that's even harder because it's like making mine and Nikki's schedules collide. How
does the idea, when the idea is born, how do you then bring it to life?
Just write and turn it into a 90-page script.
Jesus. So once that final script
it's like you're writing a book, isn't it? It's like writing 90 pages.
I've never written a book.
Yeah, so it's like 90 pages, writing a 90-page script.
So once the script is finished, how many drafts would you have gone through before we get to the final?
You will feel like doing. The thing is about drafts, I saw a tweet from Jack from Twitter, done a tweet about Kanye. He was like, why doesn't Kanye just release the album now, right? You know, Kanye is working on this album that was meant to come out, but it's not come out. Why doesn't he release it and then he just keeps working on it over time? And we keep hearing different. So each week we'll go back and we hear a different version of it. Over time, that'll be dope, right? So like, imagine every week you listen to the song and he's added, because he's finishing it off, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's playing it to people at these stadiums. But why doesn't he just release it online? And every week there's a new version of this song.
That'll be
and it's
great
just
idea.
Different iterations until the project is finished. So like maybe he sets a date when he's gonna finish it.
That could be like a series of music,
right? And so like each version, each edition, there's a new edition. There's a new edition all the time.
So like episode 1, episode 2.
But it's the same song though. But it's
just add-ons.
New edition. You don't even know what you're gonna get. Like he's adding different elements to it. I thought that was really genius.
That's a genius idea.
The reason I say that is because I just feel like you can work on a script for as long as you want. You can work on editing a film for as long as you want. You can work on shooting a film. Shooting a film is the only one that's kind of finite because it's like finite. It's draining on finances, right? And there's a big team of people.
And we know where we're going.
Yeah. There's a big team of people, so you can't just keep shooting forever. Whereas like editing, you can keep editing forever, and writing, you can keep writing forever. The same script. So that's why you meet people that are like, yeah, I've been working on this script for 20 years. They've not just sat there every day for 20 years.
But research, development.
It's been ongoing for 20 years.
So for where you've gone, what have you achieved so far? Do you have any regrets?
No. I wish I did more acting in the past 10 years. Because I feel like in trying to make it as a filmmaker, I kind of didn't focus on acting as much, and people just don't think I act anymore.
So when you say trying to make it, have you not made it? Because
no, I was trying to make it. I had to put in loads of work in the past 10 years. So like, remember my filmmaking career started because one of the driving forces when I found out I was gonna have a son. So my son's about to turn 10, that same child. So like my filmmaking career is like my son owed. So that's why when my son sits there and says, oh, I want to watch your film, Dad, I think it's funny because he's the reason I started making stuff.
That's beautiful.
He's the actual reason I became a filmmaker. Because if it wasn't, I would just carried on acting. Because you can chance. When you're like, you can chance. I feel like trying to make films and trying to make content, which has grown to like trying to make TV, trying to make content for online and so on and so forth. Trying to do that comes from a place you're more in control. Whereas where as an actor, you get to act when people tell you can act. You have to go on audition with your like super famous people offer you roles, or if you're not.
Even the super famous still audition in some cases.
Some cases, not always.
Yeah.
Mostly not.
Because I was shocked when in Intent 2, you had Getz audition.
Yeah, because Getz wasn't sure if he could do it or not. And I sometimes I just see things, so like I could see that Getz could do it, but no one else could, not even Getz.
So he had to go through it
himself
and
he
find
wanted
that
to show
himself.
Yeah,
and that's important.
Yeah, that was important because like Getz, I literally sat there in my office one day and I was like, oh, I think Getz should play the lead, and everyone was like, really? I was like, yeah, I think Getz should do it, and everyone was like, okay, and so I was like, all right, I called Getz. I was like, Getz, do you want to do it? And he was like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm not an actor. And I was like, no, I think you can do it. And he was like, all right, cool, I'm going to go and audition. I only want to do it if I can really do it. So I'm going to go and audition.
That's amazing. Well, if you ever give me that call, don't worry, I got you. I got you.
Do you know what? He was always going to audition because everyone else didn't believe it.
Yeah.
In the office. So like in a way, you had to audition because when I've got a team, like when we've got a team in the office, everyone in the office has a voice, isn't it? So if everyone in the office is saying no and I'm the only person saying yeah, we have to test my yes. We have to make sure that my yes is not
just
a moment
yes.
of madness. Right? I'm not like God in that situation, right? Where I'm like, yes, everything I say is... No. We had to make sure that I wasn't being mad.
So, as a filmmaker, I want to know this. What are the steps to making a film? Please break it down for us. What are the steps to making a film?
So you have an idea.
Yep.
You have an idea. You take that idea, you develop it into a treatment, which is like just like a story version. The best way, like creative writing at college or at school, you write a story version of your thing.
Just a synopsis.
Yeah. But long, you could do a synopsis. A treatment is like 10 pages. A synopsis is like a page, and then you do a treatment, which is a detailed story of your idea. Yeah, and then you turn that idea into a script, and I use a software called Final Draft. Some people use a software called Celtex, and there are other softwares out there. These people don't pay me, so if there are other ones that you like to use them too. But I use Final Draft, and then once you've got the script, at this point, you get someone, a producer maybe, to help you raise the money to make it. But what I've learned over the years, I've just learned how to produce because I've got a legal background and I've got other skills that maybe other creative people do not have. I've just learned. I'm probably just as well known as a director as I am a producer in my industry. And so I just, at that stage, you or someone else put together a budget and a schedule. And again, that comes with experience. So if you're up and coming, I would say get a producer that knows what they're doing to help you with this stage, because it's important to have a realistic budget and a realistic schedule. Although some of my budgets and my schedules are unrealistic as well, but I know what risk we can take based on experience. So you have a budget and a schedule, and then you take that budget and you take that schedule, and you know how much money you have to go and raise, and you know roughly when you want to shoot it, and then you go out there to the world, you raise the budget to make the film. You can raise the budget from private individuals, i.e. your mum, your dad, your best friend, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, so on. There's government organisations such as the BFI and Film London and other organisations that give funding. Creative England, Film London, the BFI are the main British government funding bodies for soft money. That's what they call that, i.e. it's government money. So it comes with less restrictions. You can raise money from finance companies, film financing companies, and then you can raise money from distribution companies, which are like record labels, but they don't really have big pots of gold like record labels in music. They do give money, but not as much. And then who else could you go to raise money? I think that's it. So private individuals, film finance companies, distribution companies, and government organisations such as the British Film Institute, Creative England, Film London, and so on and so forth. I think those are the only ways you can get money. And then hopefully you get money from one or all of these people. Oh, and there's broadcasters. So there's like BBC, Channel 4, there's Film 4, which is Channel 4's film arm. There's BBC Films, which is BBC's film arm. And there's Netflix, which we call SVOD, which is subscription video on demand. But now they're kind of collapsing into TV, really, because people watch it like TV. So you've got Netflix that could give you financing, Amazon that could give you financing. Well, that's a lot more competitive. But yeah, these are all the places you can go to get money. And then from there, hopefully you get your money. Then you go on set, you make your film. You go into pre-production, which is usually like based on how much money you have, but it could be 4 weeks or above. And then you go into production, which is again based on your budget. You shoot for as long as possible. Then you go into post-production, and then which is a few months. And we're making a film now, so it's gone into the edit was 3 months, and then it's going into the sound mix. It's gonna go into the grade, and it's gonna go into the online, and then the film will be finished. And then you tie a bow on it, and then you present it to the world and hope the world likes it.
Jesus, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first from here. The steps how to make a film. So when you go and make a film using the steps Femi just mentioned, 10% to me, 10% to him. Start right. He just gave you gold. That is gold, because a lot of people wouldn't even know what to do. And coming from you, whose experiences you are, that's.
I mean, that's how to do it here. That's how to in the UK. Those are the ways that I've mainly like got my films funded through private individuals. I've never really got money from government organisations, but we're open to that funding though. Like you know, so those are the ways, man.
Your first film took you just over 18 months to fund it.
Mad stressful. I just had a kid, just got married. Mad stressful.
Wow. Was there at one point you felt like giving up?
No. I don't know why.
Wow.
You have to be a bit mad.
You are mad. You've always been. You've always been.
I know.
Mad.
You have to be a bit mad. I think so. I
But
remember someone once said to me, like, why don't you go and get a job? Like, most actors get jobs as waiters and bartenders. Like, why don't you go and do that? And I looked at them like, are they mad? But then now that I look back, I think I'm mad for thinking they're mad.
So we fast forward.
Imagine that though. Imagine I was looking at them like, you are actually mad if you think I'm going to do that. And now when I think about it, I'm like, I'm mad. I was mad for thinking they were mad.
You believed in yourself.
Yeah, I believed in it so much, yeah, that I was that mad. That I thought that man was mad for giving me like a nice piece of advice.
He's not mad, ladies and gentlemen. So we fast forward now. Done Intent.
Yeah.
Then you've done The Intent 2. Beautiful films. What I like about your work, and you've never shied away to say you don't make films just for black people. You make films for everyone. And how big was Intent for you?
I mean, the Intent 1 changed my life because like at that point we made It's a Lot, which was our first film, took 18 months to raise the money. And I remember like going to watch it and going to the car park of a cinema, and my business partner went in to check how many people bought tickets. I remember he came back, it was like 5 people bought tickets to watch it on the opening night. And I wanted to die. I like almost cried. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't cry. Imagine that, you know that feeling, that's the worst one. You know, sometimes it's like I wanted to cry, but I couldn't cry. And so I went home, I slept, and you know what, I prayed and I said, you know what, I'm never gonna want something so much that when I get it, it makes me feel like this. So at that point, I started working on. I carried on. I started working on multiple projects, but I was, you know, sort of depressed, disillusioned for quite a long time, and then Nicky calls me and says he's got an idea for the intent, and I was like, oh, that sounds lit. He was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. He was like, because at that point I didn't really want to make a street film. I remember saying to him, I don't really want to make street films. Like, what's the point? Like, we've got enough of them as black people. And then he called me about the intent. I was like, yeah, why not? He was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then
So what changed your mind?
because I knew it would work. Again, you have to be a bit mad. Like, you just need that instinct. So I knew it would work. And it was like, was I gonna do this film was I gonna turn away this film that I know will work just because of like me judging what type of film it could be? Why don't I try to put new twist in it? So like I put like a Christian narrative in that film. Like, why don't I put different things in that film, like different little gems in that film, just because I could, because me and Nikki were doing it together. So like I came up with developed like whole other strands to that narrative that haven't been explored within that space. Obviously, it's easy to look at those films as just gang films, but then when you dig deeper, you see that there's like extra little layers that we put into that film, and like little story points and little messages that we put into the film that hadn't existed in that type of film before. And that was important. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, then we're going to figure out a way to make it more than just a regular street film.
Yeah, well, it did well because that was on you and Nick's budget anyway.
That was yeah. I mean, I know our friends, people supported us as well. Loads of people supported us. Like, you know, there's that intent is fully financed by black people.
And then Intent too.
Yeah, and that was Island Records financed that, and that was huge for us. That was really important. I feel like with the Intent 2, we wanted to do a prequel. I don't know if we should have done a prequel because I don't think people understood that it was like going backwards. I felt like people felt...
It says it there.
Yeah,
the come up.
A lot of people just didn't get it. People are dead while they're still in part 2. Like, it doesn't make sense. And so the Intent 2 was a bit confusing for some people because they didn't get the narrative. But it was a big achievement for us because, like, you know, we wanted to make a film. Again, we wanted to be more ambitious, wanted to make it more of an action film, and we wanted to shoot it internationally. So we shot in Jamaica. And, like, you know, we're able to achieve lots of things in that film. But, like, it was a shame, like, Scorcher couldn't be in it because he wasn't around. It would have been great to work with him on that. And, but it was a pleasure to work with Getz and to solidify our relationship. And that's someone that, you know, I've been a fan of, like, for most of my life.
Who isn't?
Yeah, you know. So I've been a fan of Getz for, like, since I heard him when I was maybe 14, 15. And so, it was great to work with him and, like, you know, just to shoot in Jamaica, to develop a relationship with Pop Khan, Teddy Brockshot, Louis Rankin, who, God bless his soul, is not dead. And it was just great experience. It was like one of the best experiences in my life. The only thing that happened during the post-production and that our friend Victor passed away, which had was a massive downer on that period of my life, which, you know, should have been like one of the happiest periods of my life, but I was very much unhappy and very much down. So it was like battling between being joyful and being sad at the same time.
Wow. The Intent 3. Intent 3.
No, God willing, man. God willing, soon. Because, like, you know, we've got the ideas. We just need to commit. We've not written the script yet, but we've got the ideas. We just need to commit to an idea and, like, really, like, just knock it out and, like, really have a simple narrative. So we're not trying to do a prequel. We're not trying to, it's just going to be a sequel to the intent one. So people get the story and it's easy for them to follow. And also, like, you know, we need to up the level of action in it. And so we're going to be working on that. And, you know, that's really like, we want to take our time to do it because you have to handle it with care.
Yeah, because even one, like, in most cases, like in Intent 1 and 2, there's a lot of action, a lot of drama, beautiful. And some of the actors go through very hard traumatic experience.
Yeah.
I think you could create a scene where they need to see a therapy. I mean, these chairs are nice and comfortable. You know,
Can you here?
I don't care where we shoot. We could bring the chair wherever you want. Yeah. I could just, you know, I could be the guy.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, Intent 3. We'll see what happens with the Intent 3. But I'm really excited. There's loads I want to do. There's loads we want to do in America. Here, like, there's just so many projects that we've got coming up. Like, you know. Like, there's a project in America that we're attached to as directors that is like one, like, is I'm really excited about and I think about a lot. And there's like, we're co-producing a film with Idris Elba's company that one of my good friends, who's a writer, Babby, she's written it. Like, I'm really excited about that. We are hopefully making a TV series this year. We're going to start working on it. Really excited about that. There's just so many things that I'm really excited about that I want to get out of my system. Like, me and Nikki want to get out of our systems before we do the Intent 3. Just because, like, just to show the breadth of what we can do, just to show that, you know, we don't just want to do crime. And
I think for those who know, you just don't do crime.
I know, but it's important that we show that to more than just people that know us, you know? And like, because our reach is in the hundreds of thousands and millions as opposed to like the hundreds and the thousands that we know on a day-to-day, or like people that have come across us. So I just think it's really important that, you know, we get some of those projects out of our system and we develop those works as well before we, you know.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Talk to us quickly about bringing back Channel U.
That was fun. That was like the most genius, fun thing that I did last year.
Before we say that,
yeah,
I think a lot of the younger generation don't know what Channel U is. Can you please look into that camera?
So Channel U, when we were kids, was like the channel that, it was basically the channel that showed all the music from the UK. So like, it was like your cousin up the road that started rapping and shot his cheap music video on a camera could put it on Channel U. Anyone could have their video on Channel U as long as they paid a submission fee, and it was like, had massive impact. It was like YouTube before YouTube, but with Black British music content. So it was hip hop, grime, name it, from all around the country. Everything. It was like the first time, like, you know, there was a crew called, what are they called? Hips, from Hip Switch. Like, you know, there was just all sorts of people that had, like, you know, content and music on Channel U. And then it grew to having TV shows and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, it was like probably like one of the most impactful channels from when we were kids. And
it's like the Grime Daily.
Yeah, it's like, you know, before Grime Daily, there was Channel U. Before Link Up TV,
there was Channel U.
Before, like, you know, SBTV and those places. Channel
and
U
Link Up TV was involved in
the process. So we linked up with Rashid, who owns Link Up, and he was one of our partners on that process.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give anyone out there trying to get into your industry?
Just do it. Just do it. Network. Reach out to people that you want to work with. Volunteer your time. Have a job as a bartender.
Don't be mad like him.
Yeah. The reason I say have a job, because life is the way life is, we need money. And like, when we don't have money, we don't feel good within ourselves because we're unable to do stuff and partake in things that other people are partaking in. So we need to be able to pay the bills. We need to be able to get clothes. We need to be able to eat, right? And so we need that taken care of. So I always say, like, you know, prioritize your health and your well-being, right, first. And then, you know, if you're able to, find extra time. The easiest way to get into the industry is to, like, start off as a runner or like volunteer your time helping people, and then from there you're then able to build and, you know, offer to intern with people like for a few months, and then just build from there really.
Wow. Before we go, I would like you to read something for us.
Yeah, go on. Oh, I like this chapter. So it says, "Come now, you who say today or tomorrow we'll go to such and such a city and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are like a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that." It's from the book of James. I don't know the exact chapter and verse, but yeah, it's like one of my favorite.
Yeah, so I wanted you to finish on that because that's pretty much what we've been through the pandemic.
Yeah.
And people plan for tomorrow, but tomorrow is not promised.
It's humbling, man. It's humbling. I think that's like one of the most important verses in the Bible. And like, even if you don't believe in God or like you don't believe in Christianity, I think those words are so pertinent because of what you say, because of the pandemic. Everyone had plans, right? We're talking about prep before this, like they bought 3 years worth of coffee that they were gonna sell, but then there's no one to sell the coffee to because there's a global pandemic.
So now they're giving it away.
And so they're giving it away, you know, paying very little, allowing people to pay very little for it. And so I just feel like it's important to be humble and to accept that, you know, it's like God willing. Like, you know, and that's why, you know what, I like that Muslim saying as well, say mashallah, because it's like literally, it's like if God wills, I will do this. And it's very important that if God wills, like, you know, I'll be here to do this interview with you. And
which
so
you
on and
did.
So forth, which I did.
And thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me, my man.
Oh, no, thank you for coming.
I'll be back anyway.
You hear that?
After we do the intent free.
Say that again.
After we do the intent free, I'll be back.
You meant to, I need to feature in it.
Yeah, after we do the intent free.
See that? Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If a guy can set up his own studio like I done, get a well-known director, actor, and scriptwriter to put me into intent 3. The script has not even been written. Imagine what you can do.
Motivation.
Listen, all jokes aside, 10-year-old came to the UK, made it. He found his calling, chased it. He used his child as a driving force to become what he wants to be. And he's not even seeking for money, seeking for greatness to impact him and his family. Please, don't be scared of chasing after what you need to go after. Go out there and make an impact. Whatever you get out of the world, pour 10 times more. Help others. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, love, peace, and happiness. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and like. Thank you.
Bless up.
Yes, sir. Ah, my God.